Okay, so if you want to know what samsara is also, when you, after having been sitting for an hour, then standing up and walking around feels really good, doesn't it? Then you walk for half an hour, then sitting down, and that feels good. And then that changes again into not feeling so good, and then we have to get up and walk around. This is samsara. Yeah, this is called the suffering of change. No matter what we do, we always have to change something for it not to go into big dukkha, into big pain. Yeah. And then there is this, when they talk about dukkha as being life frustration and all this we understand very quickly. But it goes much deeper, it's much more subtle. Like this also is one of the non-satisfactoriness. No matter how we turn, we will never find a place or a spot where it's comfortable forever. We always have to do something. So that's the suffering of change. And then the next one is even more subtle, which is the suffering of the all-pervasive conditioned suffering. Because we have this body and this mind, even if we don't have a broken leg, still we're not as happy as we would want to be. Yeah? When we have a broken leg, then we think, I'm taking your broken leg just as an example, then we think, oh wow, if that one would not be here, I'd be really happy. But then we forget, before I didn't have a broken leg and I was also not completely happy. So we kind of carry with us 24 hours a day this body and this mind, which has the potential to go from totally okay and happy, a little bit conditions change, sometimes conditions change like big, sometimes very little, sometimes nothing. And still it goes into boredom or anger or aggression or desire or whatever. So we carry this potential to suffer, the suffering of pain, we carry it with us 24 hours a day, mind and body, and there's no way we can escape it. So unless you get out of samsara, unless you eliminate the causes for that, which is our wrong views of how reality exists, and like that. So don't make the Buddha and the medicine Buddha existing from his own side, because that's not what we want. Like, we are not real and he is real. That's not true. But if we want to come to our nature, we would be closer to being the medicine Buddha than what we are now. Because what we are now is not natural. It's not natural for us to suffer. But as long as we have the wrong views and negative emotions, it is natural for us to suffer. So as long as the cause is there, also the result will be there. If we don't want the result, we have to stop the cause. And I think we can all see it with global warming. We all understand why there's global warming because of what we're doing. We see the causes, isn't it? And if we don't see them, at least you just open the radio or the newspaper or the telephone or whatever, and then you see it. So as long as we don't stop the causes, it will just continue. I mean, and even if we stop all the causes right now, it will still continue a bit like this, because it's like a spoon that you have in a cup of coffee. If you spin, you take out the spoon, but it still spins a bit. But then at one point it will stop. So whether the global warming can be reversed or not, I don't know. But as I'm saying, at least we can not too much contribute to it. But as long as we exist, somebody will suffer. As long as you fly to India for the teachings of the Dalai Lama, it's a very big footprint that you're leaving. If you come here from wherever, you leave a footprint. Yeah. But just sitting at home and not doing anything is also not doing the trick. So then at least the footprints we leave, if they have some meaning and we do it with a good heart and for the benefit of others, so at least it's worthwhile than doing it just for ourselves. Also, I saw Sigal, she was pointing at the book. Yes, there is a book which explains the practice of the medicine Buddha really well. It's in Hebrew even, so yeah, that one, yeah. Exactly. That one, it's... So, I think there's still a few copies there.
It's about medicine Buddha, and it was translated to Hebrew by Mary. It's perfect. Not really.
It doesn't make it more normal, okay? It doesn't make it more. It even makes it more crazy when you read it. To be honest, to be true. And I was very surprised when I heard that it's the psychologists. So many of them bought it because I thought they're not going to buy this. It's too It's too religious, this whole thing, yeah? Whereas I know why they bought it now, because when they see that they have come to the end of what they can do, then they open up for these things. Especially people who come again and again and again, you know, they want to help, but they see, you know, there's nothing I can do. So then they try to do it in this aspect. But it's a very nice book. It explains a bit. Also, I think Tantra, for me, one of the best books is Lama Yeshe, Introduction to Tantra, where he really explains really well why we practice Tantra and what it is for. Yeah. So again, you know, Tantra is just a method. It's just a means to come to the result, which is enlightenment or awakening. But then again, you know, understanding that there is no result, really understanding it, that is the result. So it's very profound, this whole thing. So yeah, so we use these, as you said, as Noga said, you know, why do I need to add something? I want to take things away. But we use them for the while because it makes it less solid than this. The visualization and visualizing yourself as the Buddha in a light, you know, in the form of light and not this solid body here, it kind of opens up a little bit that whatever I see you and I can touch, that is real, and all the rest is not real. And then we also have to let that go at the end. Yeah, it's just a help. It's just a middle step to go to the full awakening. And then what is full awakening? I don't know. I mean, this we cannot understand. We don't know. It's like if you want to explain a trip to somebody, you know, like a mental trip that you had through whatever drugs. How are you going to explain? It's like you're the only one who can experience it. So like that. Okay. What can I say? In case you attain full awakening and you regret it, you can come and complain to me. I take all the complaints. And then I will ask you to take me along with you into that state. Yeah. You see, I mean, the purer your mind is, pure in the sense of no inherent existence, no attachment, no aversion, we think, oh my gosh, life is going to be really boring. Yeah? But then everything your senses touch produces bliss in the mind, like a happy feeling. Now, whatever our senses touch at the moment, it's either attachment or aversion or indifference. And all three of them are negative states, because they don't see what is there, and they cover our potential to be free and to be open. Yeah. So when you see realized masters, how they have pleasure in everything. So the point is not to become boring or whatever. The point is to be blissful, to be open, to be really enjoying life, no matter what is there. And not having joy because of the suffering of others that you dislike, not this kind of joy. But they talk about pure joy. You know, when they see if they can help, they help, then the joy of helping. If they cannot help, then the joy of that the potential for this person to be helped is always there, can never lose it. Like our potential, our Buddha potential, or, yeah, I mean, the Buddha potential is not just for the Buddhists, okay? Everybody has Buddha potential. Everybody at the basis, the mind is pure. It's through these practices that you can find it. It's, I'm sure, also through other practices you can find it, which have nothing to do with Buddhism. Yeah, even through drugs you can sometimes go there. Yeah, but then the thing is, you have to be careful that you understand that it's the mind playing tricks. Otherwise, you just go off somewhere, and you really think you're enlightened, which you are not. So, if you experiment with drugs, I would say make sure you have a teacher that really understands whether you're the proper vessel to do these experiments, and who can bring you back in case you go off, because I don't know how to bring you back, so don't come to me afterwards. Now, it's true. I mean, I had somebody at one point, she came and she couldn't sleep anymore. For days she hadn't slept because she said, I have this white light here. I said, well, how did it get there? She said, well, you know, I went to see this guru, and then we did these practices with channels and chakras and lights, and now it doesn't go away and I can't sleep. So I said, well, I'm sorry, you have to go and ask this guru, not me. I don't know. We don't do these practices. I don't know what to do. Yeah. So the mind is very subtle, yeah. So what we know of mind is just the one which is connected to the senses. That one is quite gross, and doesn't really understand that much. You know, we think we're so clever, but everything we know is we learned it. So that's not something like real knowledge. This is we learned it, and that's it. It's no experience. But as you practice these things, this one or the sutra practice, as you go along, then you start to have experiences. And then you start to understand, for example, you start to understand how much choice we have. We do have a choice whether we want to be happy or not. Even now with all the balagan going on around us. Just to when you feel the mind going, just to tell yourself, like, I don't have to be grumpy. Just that. It creates a space between the grumpiness and you. But very often we don't notice it. Yeah. So then, when you visualize yourself as the medicine Buddha, I mean, how can you be grumpy? They're never grumpy. So, yeah, it's like you know, when you don't know what to do, you can sometimes think, what would my guru do, or what would Tara do now? Yeah. Tara would just sit back and you know, give support whenever support is needed and wanted also. You know, no forcing anybody. So it's a little bit like that. So, yeah. Okay. So again, we sit a little while and you check your motivation for doing this. And then you just do some shamatha or whatever, quieting the mind you are doing usually. Do we have somebody who has no clue what that is? Somebody who has never meditated. You know, meditation is also, I mean, what is meditation? The word meditation means bhavana, means training. So it's like, people put all kinds of stuff into what meditation should be or is not. It's not, it's just a word for training. Training what? Training the mind to be calm, or training the mind to be loving and compassionate and all this. So, depends. You can also train the mind how to rob a bank. When you sit and think about this, you know, again and again and again, then you do meditation. Meditation in Tibetan means making the mind familiar with something. Yeah? So here we're making the mind familiar that we are Buddhas. So like that, which, you know, can't be fast enough. Okay, so you check your motivation, and then I would say about 10 minutes motivation, and then you do what you call meditation you do. If you have no clue what it is, you never practiced, then just look at your mind, look what the mind is doing. That's very good meditation, by the way. Just sitting and watching the mind, what the mind is doing. Okay. Make sure you are relaxed, if you can, but with a straight back, if possible. And again, you know, not pushing, not wanting, just to be open, just to be curious. That's the best way of approaching these things. To be happy. Nobody is asking anything from you. You don't have to prove anything. You can just be, try out these things, and maybe it becomes helpful, maybe not. Letting go of wanting a certain result. The doing is the most important thing. What comes of it, that the more you relax, the more it will come. Then you visualize about 4 inches above the crown of my head is a lotus flower. In the center of the lotus is a white moon disk, and seated on the moon disk is my root guru, the Dharmakaya essence of all the Buddhas, in the form of the medicine Buddha. He is blue in color, and his body radiates blue light. His right hand, in the mudra of granting sublime realizations, rests on his right knee and holds the stem of an arura plant between thumb and first finger. His left hand is in the mudra of concentration and holds a lapis lazuli bowl filled with nectar. He is seated in the full Vajra position and is wearing the 3 red-colored robes of a monk. He has all the signs and qualities of a Buddha. So then taking refuge gives the mind a very clear direction where you want to go. So again, you can say these words if you want to. If you don't want to say them, then don't say them. It's just to reaffirm to ourselves that what we want is full awakening, meaning total freedom from all negative emotions and the causes that lead to suffering, and having developed all the qualities that one can develop in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings never be separated from the happiness that is without suffering. And may all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from both attachment and hatred, holding some close and others distant. Then we develop this kind of urgency, especially for the benefit of all sentient beings. I will quickly, very quickly, attain the precious state of perfect and complete Buddhahood. For this reason, I will practice the yoga method of Guru Medicine Buddha. So we spend a little bit of time to meditate on these 7 limbs in order to produce these 7 minds. So the first one is appreciation or respect. I prostrate to Guru Medicine Buddha. So then you think, especially for those who practice. If you've never practiced before, it's too early to think like that. But for those who have practiced for a while, what would your life be without these methods that come from the Buddha? When we see the change, when we see that life becomes lighter, easier, and also this kind of starting to trust our own potential. Without these methods, we would not have found it. So we appreciate, we respect. And you can feel that mind that appreciates, full of gratitude. That Shakyamuni Buddha, at one point, he was just an ordinary being, and then he was disturbed by that there's still, even though he has everything, that there's still so much dissatisfying things present in his life. He left his family, he went on a search, he looked for it, he found the causes, and then very openly and he kind of taught everything so that we can attain that state. So when it says I prostrate with body, speech and mind, I know that here as Jews you should not prostrate to statues. I know, so we're not really, when we're prostrating to statues, but it's an expression of the body to show respect and appreciation. And what we appreciate and what we respect is first our own potential to become a Buddha, and then the fully realized potential of all the Buddhas who are already Buddhas. So what we prostrate to is we prostrate to love, compassion, and wisdom. Not to a statue, not to a form. And then when it says I prostrate with body, speech, the speech is like we would kind of recite prayers that are praising the qualities of the Buddha. It's not for his sake, it's for our sake, to increase the appreciation and the gratitude of having kind of aspect to these teachings, to these methods. And then, of course, the most important thing is prostrating with the mind, which is gratitude, appreciation, and respect. It's a happy feeling, an open feeling. And what you can definitely also prostrate through is that you, from your side, you're giving your time, and with the dana, you're giving your money. With your presence, you're giving your energy to develop your own potential. Thanks to you being here, these things can happen. If you wouldn't be here, then it would not happen. So we appreciate showing interest for these things, showing interest in wanting to develop a good heart. So that's something, that interest is very noble. And we can definitely appreciate that. So that's the first mind we develop, is a mind of respect and appreciation, which counteracts jealousy, which counteracts arrogance. Each and every offering, including those actually performed and those mentally transformed, I present to you. So when we appreciate somebody, we like to make presents to them. It's a nice thing to do. Even if they don't need anything, we still give them things. And it creates a lot of joy in our mind. See, you're not somebody who only gives to people when they need something. We like to give. It's a positive mind, the mind of generosity. The mind of being connected with the person that we're giving something to. So here we're giving to all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. So again, you make your mind very big in order to encompass what you're trying to encompass with your thoughts, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and we give everything that exists. And you make it very exquisite, very beautiful, and totally limitless. But knowing that from its own side it is empty, it appears as if it is existing, but it doesn't. It is empty, still it has the function to create happiness. So you visualize like, I don't know, oceans and oceans of offerings of like beautiful, delicious drinks, food, wonderful sounds, smells, tastes, touches, flowers, lights, incense, perfumes. So you can visualize offering like these tulip fields in Holland. Limitless, endless. Or the lavender in the south of France. Or sunflowers that you also have in this country. And we just give. We just offer it out of gratitude, out of appreciation. A very happy mind which counteracts giving, very limited and very miserly and always calculating. Because we only visualize, we don't need to be afraid that we become poor. So we learn and discover the joy of giving without fear and limitless. Then the mind is open and kind of happy. Then we can think about our negative things that we're doing. Harmful actions, unskillful actions, inappropriate words, lying, cheating, dividing people, being jealous, envious, having harmful thoughts, having negative rejoicing, all of this. So we think whatever negativities I have created with body, speech and mind, I see them as not helpful. Not helpful to attain awakening, not helpful to make me and others happy. Therefore, I regret. I will pay more attention to the mind state, and as much as possible, I will abstain from these negative actions in the future. So we admit, we grow up, we're not hiding it anymore. We know we all make mistakes. It's not the end of the world, we can learn from them. We're not suppressing anything, but we're putting awareness and attention into not committing these actions again in the future. And that counteracts unhealthy guilt and shame, because we're doing something. No need to be guilty, no need to feel ashamed, because these two minds totally block you, because then you don't want to look anymore. So then the mind is down again a little bit because we think of our negative sides, then we need to bring it up again, and then we rejoice. We rejoice in all the good things that we do. So you can really sit and remember all your positive actions that you have done. This life, all the previous lives, and all the positive actions you will do in the future. And we offer those also. We offer them to all sentient beings. May all my positive actions not just be for my benefit, but may benefit all sentient beings with whomever I come in contact. May it always benefit them. And then we become very joyful, and it counteracts envy and jealousy when we see other people are better than us. Because we also rejoice in the good things that other people do. The realized ones, the not so realized ones. So many good things are also happening on this planet. And we should think how wonderful it is that some people are honestly, with a lot of effort, trying to be of benefit to others, to create peace, to make this world a wonderful place that is supposed to be, so that we can live with joy and with ease, instead of all this struggle all the time. So we just rejoice. And then in order to, for the Buddhas to teach, we need to request also. So as our guide, I request you, O Buddha, to please abide well and turn the wheel of Dharma until samsara ends. So that means we're asking them to have long lives and to come back again and again and again to teach us the Dharma. That counteracts all the negative actions we've done, like in a relationship with the guru, like not following advice, making fun of them, kind of being angry at them and all this. And also it creates the cause that we will understand the Dharma and be able to practice the Dharma, having the conditions, inner and outer conditions, to be able to practice. By requesting them to teach and by requesting them to return again and again and again until everybody is fully awakened. And then in order to reaffirm to ourselves why we are doing this is the dedication at the end. All virtues, both my own and those of others, I dedicate to the ripening of the two bodhicittas. The two bodhicittas is conventional bodhicitta, which is compassion, ultimate bodhicitta, which is wisdom, understanding emptiness, understanding that even though so many beings are caught up in their suffering and the causes of suffering, but from the ultimate point of view, they do not exist from their own side. They're just merely labeled, so we have to bring these two together. Otherwise it becomes too heavy to think about the suffering. So then for the ripening of the two bodhicittas and the attainment of Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. So we dedicate for the Buddhahood of all sentient beings, not just for myself. So that again, the practice becomes very meaningful, not just for my happiness, but for the happiness of all beings. Okay, so then these 7 limbs can become very powerful to train the mind in positive states, or it can also be just lip service when you just go blah, 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 blah. So it depends on you. It doesn't really depend on the practice. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. The object of my attachment, aversion, and ignorance, friends, enemies, and strangers, my body, wealth, and enjoyments. Without any sense of loss, I offer this collection. Please accept it with pleasure and bless me with freedom from the three poisons. Idam guru ranna mandala kam niryatayami. And then the blessings of the Buddhas are always there, but why we say these words is in order for us to open up to receive them. I beseech you, Bhagavan Medicine Guru, whose sky-colored body of lapis lazuli signifies omniscient wisdom and compassion, as vast as limitless space, please grant me your blessings. I beseech you, compassionate Medicine Guru, who hold in your right hand the King of Medicines, symbolizing your vow to help all pitiful sentient beings plagued by the 424 diseases, please grant me your blessings. So this is this Arura plant that he's holding in his right hand. I beseech you, compassionate Medicine Guru, who hold in your left hand a bowl of nectar symbolizing your vow to give the glorious undying nectar of the Dharma that eliminates the degenerations of sickness, old age, and death. Please grant me your blessing. So they say this wisdom nectar, which is in that bowl on his left hand, is the wisdom nectar to eliminate the 4 maras. So there's 3 maras which are internal, and there's only 1 mara which is outside. So one of these maras is death, because death by itself is nothing bad, it's very natural, but it ends our practice, and we don't know where we're going to be reborn. So it can be, if you're reborn in a lower state, then we cannot continue with the practice for a while. Another mara is this combination of body and mind, which is very sensitive and it's difficult to keep happy, and very often it stands in the way to practice properly because we have pain in the body, we can't sit, or the mind is bored and we don't want to meditate and all this. So it's called the 5 aggregates, or body and mind, psychophysical aggregates. Another mara that is difficult or hinders the practice. And then our negative emotions, or the kleshas, are the 3rd of these 4 maras. And then there is the Devaputra. You could call it a negative energy in the world that is trying to kind of disturb us in our practice. But there's only one that is outside, and if we don't have any karmic connection with that one, then he's not able to disturb us. Same way he wasn't able to disturb Prince Siddhartha when he was meditating, and when he became enlightened also. He tried, but he didn't succeed. So these are the 4 maras. So the medicine in this bowl is against these 4 maras. And then we attain, as it says, the undying state, free from sickness, old age, and death. The state of a Buddha. Okay, then you visualize above the crown of the Guru Medicine Buddha, wish-granting jewel, which in essence is your Guru if you have one. Then above that is the Buddha, delightful King of clear knowing, whose body is coral red in color, his right hand in the mood of bestowing sublime realizations, his left hand in the mood of concentration. So we're moving upwards now. When we recite the names, we're moving downwards. So above him is the Buddha, melodious ocean of proclaimed Dharma, with the dark pink colored body, his right hand in the mood of bestowing sublime realizations, and his left hand in the mood of concentration. Above him is the Buddha, supreme glory free from sorrow, light pink in color with both hands in the mood of concentration. Above him is the Buddha, stainless excellent gold, golden color, his right hand in the mood of expounding the Dharma, his left hand in the mood of concentration. Above him is the Buddha, king of melodious sound, brilliant radiance of skill, adorned with jewels, moon, and lotus, yellow in color, with his right hand in the mood of expounding the Dharma, and his left in the mood of concentration. Then the last one above him is the Buddha, renowned glorious king of excellent signs, golden color, with his right hand in the mudra of expounding the Dharma, and his left in the mudra of concentration. Okay, so then we do again as last session, so we just do like 3 recitations this time also. It's also good to know for you if you do retreat, then you start small and then you increase, and then you go back to small. And, you know, so this is usually how it is done. So since also, you know, we've been reciting a lot and maybe you're not used to it, we do just 3 times because I don't want to, you know, so that you, it's not much point. Okay? To you, Buddha, renowned, glorious King of excellent signs, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha, having fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. To you, Buddha, renowned, glorious King of excellent signs, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha, having fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. To you, Buddha, renowned, glorious King of excellent signs, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha, having fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. Then the golden, renowned, glorious King of excellent signs absorbs into the yellow King of melodious sound. To you, Buddha, King of melodious sound, brilliant radiance of skill, adorned with jewels, moon, and lotus, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha, who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. To you, Buddha, King of melodious sound, brilliant radiance of skill, adorned with jewels, moon, and lotus, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha, who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. To you, Buddha, King of melodious sound, brilliant radiance of skill, adorned with jewels, moon, and lotus, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha, who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. So then the yellow Buddha King of melodious sound absorbs into the golden stainless excellent gold, who sits below him. To you, Buddha, stainless excellent gold, great jewel, who accomplishes all vows, fully destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha, who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. To you, Buddha, stainless excellent gold, great jewel, who accomplishes all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha, who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. To you, Buddha, stainless excellent gold, great jewel, who accomplishes all vows, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha, who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. Then the golden stainless excellent gold absorbs into the pink supreme glory free from sorrow, or like red, it's dark pink or red. To you, Buddha, supreme glory, free from sorrow, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha, who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. To you, Buddha, supreme glory, free from sorrow, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha, who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. To you, Buddha, supreme glory, free from sorrow, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha, who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. May your vows to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. Then the dark red or the dark pink glory, free from sorrow, absorbs into the light pink Buddha melodious ocean of proclaimed Dharma. To you, Buddha, melodious ocean of proclaimed Dharma, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. To you, Buddha, melodious ocean of proclaimed Dharma, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. To you, Buddha, melodious ocean of proclaimed Dharma, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. Then the light pink ocean of proclaimed Dharma absorbs into the coral-colored red king of clear knowing. To you, Buddha, delightful king of clear knowing, supreme wisdom of an ocean of Dharma, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. To you, Buddha, delightful king of clear knowing, supreme wisdom of an ocean of Dharma, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. To you, Buddha, delightful king of clear knowing, supreme wisdom of an ocean of Dharma, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. Then the coral red, delightful king of clear knowing absorbs into the lapis lazuli blue medicine guru, king of lapis light. So then you have inside this, the medicine guru, the lapis lazuli one, then you have all the energy of all the other ones too. Again, they're all very powerful. That you cannot increase their power, but this is just for our very childish mind who thinks that, I need some more and some more and some more. That's for our own benefit that then it happens like this. But also to show, all the Buddhas are one, and one Buddha is all the other Buddhas. So this is why we kind of mix all these things. To you, Buddha, medicine guru, king of lapis light, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. To you, Buddha, medicine guru, king of lapis light, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. To you, Buddha, medicine guru, king of lapis light, fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully accomplished Buddha who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. So he remains on your crown or in the space in front of you if that's easier. So granting your request from the heart and holy body of the King of Medicine, Guru Medicine Buddha, infinite rays of light pour down, completely filling your body from head to toe. They purify all your diseases and afflictions due to spirits and their causes, all your negative karma and mental obscurations. In the nature of light, your body becomes as clean and clear as crystal, means it loses its solidity, keeps the form, but it becomes a body of light. Can we do this one? We do 3 long mantras, 7 short ones, and then I finish the mala by just reciting silently, and you decide whether you want to recite or visualize. So do either one if possible, and of course if you know the mantra by heart, then you can do both. Om Namo Bhagavate Bekkanse Guru Bendurya Prabharachaya Tathagataya Arate Samyak Sambodhaya Tayata Om Bekkanse Bekkanse Maha Bekkanse Bekkanse Raja Samugate Soha. Om Namo Bhagavate Bekkanse Guru Bendurya Prabharachaya Tathagataya Arhate Samyak Sambodhaya Tayata Om Bekkanse Bekkanse
Mahabekkanze Bekkanze Raja Samugate Soa. Om Namo Bhagavate Bekkanze Guru Vendurya Pramarachaya Tathagataya Arhate Samyak Sambuddhaya Tayata Om Bekkanze Bekkanze Mahabekkanze Bekkanze Raja Samugate So. I'm sorry, I just realized that while I was, doing the visualization, I just realized that we only did the first step, means purifying ourselves from negativities. So then the light kind of flows again, or keeps flowing, and this time it purifies, then it fills this empty body with all the qualities that you would like to have. So you can have this filling it with blue light, because it's the medicine Buddha. You can have it fill it with golden light. Whatever seems more, more feasible for you, whatever speaks to you more, try it out. So we're receiving all the qualities, and then if you have initiation, slowly you transform into the medicine Buddha. In your heart is a lotus and a moon disc. On top of that, let your hum, around the hum the mantra. And then when we do continue to recite, this time short mantra, then you visualize light is going out to all sentient beings. First the ones that you hold especially at heart, and beings that are very dear to you, so you send them the light, and then they transform into the medicine Buddha, and then, according to your capacities, you expand and you do either just the country or the region or the whole universe, or you stay with yourself alone, that's fine. You can also do the purification just for yourself. If you don't have initiation, then you have the medicine Buddha at your crown, and he sends light into your body, so you just keep doing that. Otherwise, after purifying your own body, then the light from medicine Buddha's heart is going out in all the directions, purifying all beings in the east, all beings in the west, all beings in the north and in the south, above and below. And so the whole universe fills with this light, and everybody transforms into the medicine Buddha. I'm sorry, I was totally not concentrated before. So now we do the short mantra 7 times. Tayata Om Bekkanze Bekkanze Ma Bekkanze Bekkanze Raja Samugate So. Tayata Om Bekkanze Bekkanze Ma Bekkanze Bekkanze Raja Samugate So. Tayata Om Bekkanze Bekkanze Ma Bekkanze Bekkanze Raja Samugate So. Tayata Om Bekkanze Bekkanze Ma Bekkanze Bekkanze Raja Samugate So. Tayata Om Bekkanze Bekkanze Ma Bekkanze Bekkanze Raja Samugate So. Tayata Om Bekkanze Bekkanze Ma Bekkanze Bekkanze Raja Samugate So. Tayata Om Bekkanze Bekkanze Ma Bekkanze Bekkanze Raja Samugate So. Tayata Om Bekkanze Bekkanze Ma Bekkanze Samugate So. Tayata Bekkanze Bekkanze Ma Bekkanze Bekkanze So. Tayata Bekkanze Tayata Om Bekkanse Bekkanse Maha Bekkanse Bekkanse Raja Samukate So. Then feel great joy and think. All sentient beings are transformed into the aspect of the Medicine Buddha Guru. How wonderful that I'm now able to lead all sentient beings into the Medicine Buddha's enlightenment. And just look what the thought kind of does to you, you know, that you go like, what on earth is this? Or, wow, how wonderful. Yeah, because neither Buddhahood nor samsara, it doesn't exist from its own side. So then we start to, when we think like this, we start to develop the confidence that we can attain Buddhahood. If we don't have that confidence, we'll never get there. You don't fall into Buddhahood by coincidence. And then, so this would be the moment also when you can think about these four immeasurables again, by thinking, you know, wouldn't it be wonderful if all beings had happiness and the causes of happiness? Then in order to make it a bit stronger, may they have happiness and the causes of happiness. Then may I lead them to a state to have happiness and the causes of happiness. So it becomes very strong, our attitude. Then also, it wouldn't be wonderful if all sentient beings were free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May I free them from suffering and the causes of suffering. And then, you know, because we know that it's difficult to do, we actually ask for blessings. And so you would include here by saying, please Guru Deity, inspire me to be able to do so. So we know that this is the goal, and we're humble enough to recognize that you know, needs a lot of things until I'm there, but this is where I want to go. So whatever help I can receive in terms of blessing and inspiration, may I be able to do so. Then the joy, wouldn't it be wonderful if all beings were able to live that potential of love, compassion and wisdom, like not even know the word of suffering, have the happiness that is beyond all suffering. May they have that happiness which is beyond all suffering. May I be able to lead them to that state. Please Guru Deity, inspire me to be able to do so. How wonderful it would be if all beings were abiding in equanimity, free from attachment for some and hatred for others. May they abide in equanimity. May I be able to lead them to that state. Please, Guru Deity, inspire me to be able to do so. So even though the Buddhas are not an omnipotent God, we can still ask for help and inspiration and blessings. Then the dedication, page 14 at the bottom. So if you had the medicine guru at your crown, now it's the time that he dissolves into light. If it feels comfortable, you let that light absorb into you, into your heart chakra. If it doesn't feel comfortable, it just fades away, because the Buddhas also don't exist from their own side. They're also depending on our mind or on a mind to perceive them. Oh, that's quite frightening, actually, that they're not existing from their own side. Always out there. So there you go. But the moment we think of them, they come into existence, because they are there. Not truly, not really, but as a dependent arising. So the Buddha absorbs into you, or it just fades away. if you have been the medicine Buddha, so then now you can do, either you absorb and you arise again in your ordinary form, or you go home as medicine Buddha, that's fine. As you do these practices, actually the best would be all the time being in the form of whatever deity you practice, either Tara, medicine Buddha, or Chenresig, or whatever. That would be the best. So due to these merits, may I complete the ocean-like actions of the sons of the victorious ones. May I become the holy savior, refuge and helper for sentient beings who have repeatedly been kind to me in past lives. By the virtues received from attempting this practice, may all living beings who see, hear, touch, or remember me, even those who merely say my name, in that very moment be released from their miseries and experiences happiness forever. As all sentient beings, infinite to space, are encompassed by Guru Medicine Buddha's compassion, may I too become the guide for sentient beings existing throughout all the directions of the universe. Because of these virtues, may I quickly become a Guru Medicine Buddha and lead each and every sentient being into his enlightened realm. May the I, who doesn't exist from its own side, attain very quickly full awakening, which doesn't exist from its own side, in order to lead all sentient beings who don't exist from their own side to that state by myself alone. So that's kind of sealing the practice with emptiness. Then the dedication becomes very powerful if you seal it with emptiness. Sometimes also what we can just say, just as the brave Manjushri and Samantabhadra, two realize things as they are, so do I dedicate in the same way like them. Because we don't know about emptiness, but they do, these two bodhisattvas, Manjushri and Samantabhadra and all the others. So we say, I don't know how to dedicate because I don't know emptiness, but in order for the dedication to become very powerful, I dedicate like them, then also becomes very powerful. So you see, this whole thing is just playing with our psyche, that's all. Yeah, so it's very psychologically very skillful the way that this whole thing is being built up. And also it's very good to know these practices are not true or real or this, they're like a placebo, okay? And as opposed to a placebo in medicine, the more you know that it's placebo, the better it works. In medicine we say, oh, if you know it's placebo, it won't work. Here it's the opposite. Because you know that the placebo works. So if you know that the placebo works, you don't need to not know that it's a placebo, okay? Because it's enough to swallow the pill, it's enough to do the practice. And because everything is not existing from its own side, but we need these methods to get there. You know, as the Buddha says, he says, my teachings are not true. Do you know of any other religious leader who says that? He says, my teachings are not true, but they lead to truth. The truth of what? That truth which doesn't function, which is nothing, which is emptiness. And then once we have realized emptiness, then everything becomes possible. As long as we don't realize emptiness, we're very, very limited. Yeah? So it's not that then emptiness, then everything is finished. Not like that. You don't disappear. You come back again and again and again as a fully awakened being, being Superman or Superwoman, no limitations. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Okay. So thank you very much. If you have questions, by all means do ask them. Otherwise, tomorrow we take another deity. We do Tara, because it's kind of just an introduction for you how to do these things. Then we do Tara. It's different because there, at the beginning of the sadhana, we recite the path. You know, so we know why we're doing that. So we go through these three principal aspects of the path quite in a detailed way. Then the purification happens for us with different lights. And then the mantra recitation is pretty much the same again. Although we have already, with the purification, Tara absorbs into us. One meditates in stages about emptiness, and then out of that emptiness you arise as Tara. So it's more detailed, yeah, than here. And Tara is the one who liberates from all fears. So outer fears, inner fears, and so on. The mantra is very easy, so you know, that's one, like Om Mani Padme Hum, you know it by heart very quickly. So when you feel fear overcoming you, to go and recite Tara mantra. the other day somebody asked, well, isn't that escaping from something? I said, well, I don't know, you know. I mean, living your fears and not doing anything about them, I don't think it's very beneficial. And I think trying to do something with your fears so that you can act out of a space that is calm and open, I think that is more skillful. But yeah, I mean, as I say, everything can become an escape. You see, these methods, for you, they can become medicine or poison. It depends how you use them. And this is where the teachers or the gurus come in, so that they watch how you're using these things. It's the same as with these drugs, you know. It can become total poison. It can be medicine to see that what I see now, it can appear totally differently. Yeah, so that we're not kind of grasping to this thing. All this is just fantasy, but I am real. So this is what we're trying to break. This kind of very ordinary view. Me here, others out there, totally separate from each other. So it's just skillful means to work with our psyche, to kind of without drugs, to let go of that very, very strong view that we're holding since beginningless times. Yeah, so I found them beneficial and powerful, but many people don't, so that's okay. You know, this is okay. It's the same like with food. Some people like this, some people like that. But the good thing here is, same as with food. Food, the purpose of food is to nourish us. You don't have to like it. It will still nourish you. The purpose of this is to lead us to enlightenment. You don't have to like doing it. If you do it, it still will lead you to enlightenment. So what people usually think with these practices, you know, I have to feel full of compassion and very emotional and very open and full of light. Yeah, sometimes it happens that you feel like this. Sometimes you're totally bored. But it doesn't matter how you feel. You just have to do it. The same as with the food. Food cannot nourish you if you don't swallow it, if you don't eat it, if you only know about the properties of the food. Yeah? So you don't need to like it. This is what people mistake. They think they have to feel, you know, wow, and this is great and full of faith, and that's blind faith. Yeah? You just have to do it. It's so simple. It's one of the most simple things in the Buddhist practice, doing sadhanas. And we make it so difficult because we take it apart and we know what is this, what is that, what is, you know. So, no need. No need. But you need to have some trust that you sit down and do it. And the more you do it, the more the trust will increase, because the more blissful and open and fearless you become. And you still have terrible states of mind, but they don't have so much hold on you anymore. Yeah, because especially with depression, doing tantric practices and visualizing the light all the time, you know, visualizing light, it really kind of breaks it, and especially if you do purification. It's a very good antidote to depression. But not immediately, you know. If it would be an immediate kind of antidote for depression, then everybody would do these practices. This is the thing. But I've heard people say it really, really works. Also for panic, fear, and all these kind of things. Anger, greed, attachment. It's the antidote for our deluded mind, basically, by visualizing something undiluted. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful and it's simple. So, and it doesn't cost that much. I mean, you know, you give dana, you give as much as you can. You don't give more than you can, but you give as much as you can. That is what dana means, so that we can still keep doing these things, we can still keep offering these events for everybody. So everybody gives whatever they can give. So that means, in terms, sometimes I have to spell it out. That means if you have a lot of money, you give more than what you think it's worth. Actually, if you would have to pay what it's worth, you couldn't pay for it. And then it would only be accessible for the rich people. But really try to give, when you practice, try to give so that it becomes generosity and not a payment. You know, and generosity is when you buy a gift for your friend, for your dearly beloved friend. You're not choosing the cheapest thing. And then the more the more you find the gift beautiful, the more joy you have in giving it. If it's some cheap kind of whatever stuff, it's like, you give it, but there's no joy. So don't give too much, because then also there's no joy. If you buy a gift that is far too expensive for your budget, there's no joy. Then there's fear that you become poor or you go empty-handed. But if you give too little, then it's also no joy. So you become kind of your own judge, what you can give. And whatever you put into the box out there, make sure that there's joy by giving it. Otherwise, rather not give. It's not a payment. This is also, generosity is the economy of the heart. And when you are generous and you give freely, then the result comes immediately, because you feel rich. Whereas with the meditation, it takes a while for the results to come. Yeah? So that's what I mean. This is how dana is meant. We in the West, we're not used to that. We want to pay. Then you see, if I sell you something, I'm not so happy when you pay, because it's not the real giving. Yeah? If you have to pay for it, you're not happy, because also, again, it's not the real giving. If whoever comes here and sits in this place, they just give, there's a lot of joy, And whatever you put in the box also, because it's not a payment, but you want to give, then there is joy. Yeah? So I keep telling people, I had to switch my attitude here in Israel, because in the shuk, I love to go to the shuk, but I also know that they cheat me sometimes, because they know that I don't check, and I'm not haggling, and I just pay whatever they ask. So in order to not to get upset, I had to change my attitude. So now when I go shopping, and actually it's quite fun, when I go shopping, I go in order to give business to the people, to the shopkeepers. It's really great. I mean, without the country here, I wouldn't have thought about this thing. So then shopping is becoming really joyful, because you always succeed. You always, when you buy something, you always give money, or you always give business to the people who are selling something. Yeah? And then whatever, if it's too much or too little, it doesn't matter, because your attitude, your motivation is to give business. And you start liking the guys. I mean, yesterday I had a really good conversation with where I bought the fruits for the altar. It was very expensive. But I had a really nice conversation with the guy, and I found out why he is so expensive. Because whatever is in Ganair, whatever he cannot sell, in the morning he puts it into boxes and outside his shop, and people can take whatever they want to take, because he's not throwing away anything. So I said, wow, I'm really happy now to pay. Yeah, because I'm paying for these people who cannot afford it. And then, of course, people say, oh, what about people who go and get when they still can afford it? They cannot afford it, otherwise they wouldn't go there, no matter how full their wallet is. Poverty is in the mind, it's not in the wallet. So he said, you can come in the morning. I said, I don't want to come in the morning. I want to pay so that you can continue this practice. He never throws anything away. He's in Ganair, he's a little bit like behind when you go to the parking lot. And nothing is wrapped, everything is open, like as little as possible plastic. He has bags that he sells you that are reusable, not just plastic bags. He does have plastic bags though also, I think. And he's a really nice guy, because when I came, he asked me, he said, oh, you're Buddhist? I said, yeah. So, this whole thing, what are you doing here? La, 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 la. And he said, oh, I was in Thailand, I saw Buddhists, or he saw a movie, I can't remember. Buddhists walking around with a pot, he said. And then people put food in it. So I said, what? So what if I come next time I come with a pot? Would you put your fruits into it? And then he said, you can come in the morning if you want. If you don't want to pay, come in the morning, have a look if something is left over. It's wonderful, isn't it? But I can pay, so of course I pay. Because I can. I'm not in a position that I have to go where I don't have to pay just because it's free. This is also, just because it's free and you don't need it or you could pay, don't take it. It's for people who can't pay. Because otherwise you create the cause in order to be poor. This is the problem, because it goes into stealing almost. Yeah? Because your consciousness knows It's not for me. Just the fact that it is free is not for me because I can't pay. If you can pay. But if you cannot pay, then get whatever you can get without paying, with gratitude for the people who are paying, instead of being jealous and, you know, all these kind of things. So what one learns here is in whatever situation to create a happy mind. And happy or unhappy mind is depending on our thoughts. It's not depending on the situation. Okay? Okay, so thank you very much. Tomorrow we will meet Tara and we start again at 10:30, right?
Yeah.
Okay.